But there was a Trump cabinet meeting, and there was a couple of things that were said here by good old Pam Bondi. I agree with Pam Bondi 100% on that point. Let's say it again. Including you, including Trump, including everybody in your administration. Nobody is above the law in this country. Unfortunately, that's not the way you're treating it, and we'll see that clearly as we watch the back of her head, because there was another video that had a shot on the side of her face, but this is just the back of your head. I guess Trump wanted to make sure that Oh, I didn't even realize this the first time. These frickin' Gulf of America hats. I mean, we have a childish president. This president is so childish. That is childish. Has there ever been a president that has hawked his wares in the middle of a cabinet meeting before, ever? I mean, this is the act of a man baby. Before we even get to what Pam Bondi is saying or doing or whatever. Jesus. It's absurd.
President, your first 100 days has far exceeded that of any other presidency in this country.
The best meme that I've seen about this was the fact that William Henry Harrison had a more successful first 100 days and he was dead for 70 of them. That was the funniest meme I saw today. But yeah, I guess it really depends on what you consider as a success. If you consider Vladimir Putin would probably think it's a very big success for this country. But let's continue.
Ever. Never seen anything like it. Thank you.
And I didn't watch the entirety of this thing either, but it's probably just a round robin of Trump ass licking. I'm sure everybody here at the end of this meeting has a mouth that looks like it just ate a bag of Cheetos. Just face all in the bag and everything.
Your directive to me was very simple. Make America safe. And
how is she doing that? She's not. Let's continue.
Despite that, we've still been defending over 200 civil lawsuits filed against you.
Wonder what that is. It's MAGA crazy talk to think that, the reason that, we have those cases is because they're persecuting our poor president. Boo-hoo. Again, boo-hoo. No. Maybe you should stop violating the law. If you stopped violating the law, if you stopped exceeding your constitutional authority, maybe you wouldn't have that many lawsuits coming after you. Because again,
no one is above the law in this country.
But yet, there's 200 lawsuits against you. It can't possibly be that they're all wrong, right? Well, they'll say so.
On top of everything else, I think I'm representing every one of you in this room in some capacity. And no, you will not be.
Oh, it's so funny that they're all complicit in the actions of this lawless administration. Oh, we're so funny. I'm representing each and every one of you. Ha ha.
Arrested by the U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, exactly. She goes, you will not be arrested by the U.S. Marshals. Which is why I think Donald Trump believes that he can get away with whatever it is he wants to get away with. Because if the Supreme Court tries to hold him in contempt, even if it goes all the way up to the Supreme Court and they vote 9-0 to hold him in contempt, to hold members of his administration in contempt of court, how do you arrest them? Well, you can't arrest Trump. That's been a standing Justice Department policy forever. So you can't arrest Trump. You have to impeach him first, and that'll never happen. But who enforces the contempt of court charges? Who goes arrest them and locks them up? The U.S. Marshals. Who controls the U.S. Marshals? Bondi does.
Over 200 lawsuits, over 50 injunctions.
Of course, Hegseth is the one that laughed about it most.
And now we've got multiple cases in front of the Supreme Court, and we will succeed. And we
you haven't so far, but let's continue.
Are doing great in front of the Supreme Court, President, and we'll continue on with that.
Of course, they will piss on you and tell you it's raining, and you'll think, oh, it's just a hot rain, and it's yellow too, but oh well.
I was at DEA yesterday, and they said to me, you, Donald Trump, have taken the handcuffs off of DEA agents. And as a result of, since you have been in office, President Trump, your DOJ agencies have seized more than 22 million fentanyl pills, 3,400 kilos of fentanyl since you've been your last 100 days, which saved, are you ready for this, media? 258 million lives.
He's saved 258 million lives. 2/3 of this country. According to Pam Bondi, 2/3 of this country would have died if it wasn't for Donald Trump. Now, there's a whole bunch of people who did die in this country needlessly because of the way he mishandled the COVID-19 pandemic. But if we're to believe the media, and I bet you there's some people in the media who'd be like, oh, look, he saved that many lives. Over 200 million. Who believes that? I mean, MAGA believes it, but how dumb must you be to believe that Donald Trump's actions on fentanyl saved 200 plus million lives of the 340 plus million lives in this country? Like, they're not even pretending to try and be factual at this point. They just believe that they can say anything that they want and nobody will question them because the media doesn't do a fair enough job. You had the first video piece that we saw where he just said, oh, the immigration is doing great, encounters are down, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. I don't believe it. Why would I believe this administration? Why would I believe the administration numbers on how many apprehensions and how many encounters that they've had with undocumented migrants or people crossing the border or whatever? Why would I believe that's down when you're saying that he's saved the lives of over 200 million people? That 2/3 of this country would have died if it not for President Trump. All hail the king. All hail King Trump.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Let's continue.
Kids are dying every day because they're taking this junk.
People are dying. Children are crying. But birds are flying too. Texaco's drilling. Whatever this is. It's been a while since I've heard that song.
With something else, they don't know what they're taking. They think they're buying a Tylenol or an Adderall and a Xanax, and it's laced with fentanyl, and they're dropping dead, and no longer because of you.
They're no longer dying of fentanyl. So from today forward, we should see 0 fentanyl deaths, right? Again, this is the same Republican Party who, when President Biden stopped a whole crap ton of fentanyl, more than Trump had ever stopped from crossing the border, or after it crossed the border, they complained. They cried. I'm like, why are you complaining? Are your campaigns ran on the money that's created by the drug trade? Are you funded by fentanyl sales? Is that why you're angry? Why were you be mad that Joe Biden stopped and caught fentanyl that crossed the border? But now it's such a great thing that that he's caught so much fentanyl that would have saved the lives of 200 million people.
What you've done. ATF, since you've been in office, President, along with DOJ agencies, seized 14,500 guns off the streets. Why aren't people reporting that?
I thought gun rights were sacrosanct in the Republican Party. Now we're cheering that they've taken away people's guns. Hypocrisy is the conservative prerequisite.
651,000 rounds of ammo.
So who have they taken that ammo away from? Should the government be seizing people's ammunition? I mean, if you take the guns, you can't shoot the ammo, right? But why would we believe those numbers? Why would I believe the numbers of guns that have been seized from people in this country? I don't know if they were seized from citizens or not, but why would we believe that number? Why would we believe the amount of ammunition that they've removed from the streets when they think that 200 plus million people were saved by Donald Trump's drug policies?
That's up 151%.
So the Trump administration has increased the number of guns seized from people in this country by 150%, and the conservatives are going to sit here and applaud it. If the number of guns that Biden seized went down by 50%, the Republicans would probably say that he was seizing too many weapons and he was violating the Second Amendment rights of people in this country by seizing that many guns and taking them away from him. But Donald Trump increases it by 150%, and it's everything's good, everything's great, everything's wonderful. Wonder how many millions did Donald Trump, because they seized all those guns, did he save 5 million people's lives? Donald Trump saved 1 trillion lives because he removed the guns and the ammunition from the streets. He did it personally. He went door to door with his orange tiny fingers and picked up every single gun and put them away and took them away from all the people who I guess, shouldn't have guns because gun rights are only for people who are old white Republicans, men, I guess. I mean, look, if taking away guns from criminals, fine. I'm not going to argue with that, but this is hypocritical.
From 2024. That's keeping America safe.
I thought an armed population was a polite population. Wasn't that true? Didn't you tell us? Didn't Republicans always tell us that an armed populace is a polite populace? Right? No? Was that just my imagination that Republicans said that? Yeah, Josh, she sounds awkwardly scripted. She absolutely is awkwardly. I mean, she has her finger on the paper, kind of looking at the lines right there. She has it completely written out of what she wants to say. Now, I'm not going to begrudge somebody for having an outline of things that they want to say, but, I mean, this is like, here, Pam, you're going to say this, and you're going to talk all these wonderful things about me. You're going to say all these wonderful things about me. Don't bother fact-checking it because every number in here is accurate. Even if it's not, we'll tell them that it's accurate, and the media will question us on it because the media sucks.
Death penalty. We are now seeking the death penalty on cases. I'm signing death warrants.
She's signing death warrants. What does that mean? Now, going after the death penalty, you know, I understand that they're much more gung-ho about trying to off people who are criminals. And look, if you committed, you know, if you murdered a bunch of people and you're getting a death penalty, I'm not going to weep for you. But signing death warrants? What the hell does that mean? Now, there's such a thing as execution warrants. Maybe I'm parsing too much. Maybe I'm being overly pedantic, but maybe I put the Dan in pedantic. But what I think maybe what she meant was execution warrants, which is something that has to be signed before, I guess, you actually do, you know, put somebody to death via the death penalty. But a death warrant to me sounds like something that's completely different. Like going after somebody who you can kill regardless. And some news agencies, especially some of the more left ones, have taken and ran with this comment that she said and have basically said that Pam Bondi wants to kill Americans and she's signing death warrants for Americans at this point. And I'll say that I don't believe she meant that. I believe she probably meant execution warrants. But here's the thing. We can't afford to take that risk. So again, we have to question this administration on everything that they do and everything that they say. And somebody in the and people in the media just can't say, oh, she probably meant execution warrants. You need to press her on that to say exactly what she actually meant when it came to that. And then keep an eye on them to make sure that they're actually talking about the warrants that are needed to be filed when you execute somebody who is found guilty of a crime that has the death penalty and the death penalty was given as part of the sentencing. But you need a media that's going to do their job. And we don't have that. We'll just have we have a media that takes the president and the administration at their word on numbers and other things that they say. And that's why people don't trust the media. Because they've abdicated, again, their responsibility to do their jobs.
We are going after terrorism. We are going after arsonists. Whether you're burning Teslas, we've arrested 9 people so far in 7 jurisdictions, no negotiations, 20 years in prison, or you're burning down the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. We will be there to protect you. And I've been talking to Governor Shapiro, and he...
If you burn down the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, we'll be here to protect you. So this wasn't very well scripted, because the way that sounds is that she's going to protect the people who tried to burn down the governor's mansion. Again, she later said she's working with Governor Shapiro, whatever. So, you know, maybe it's reasonable to believe that maybe that's not what she really meant to say. But again, we need a media who's going to ask for clarifications on these things. And if they don't ask for clarifications on these things, you're going to have people who believe that this administration is going to protect the people who tried to burn down Governor Shapiro's mansion, the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, because we don't have a responsible media.
Greatly appreciated you reaching out as well. ISIS terrorist, we got one in New York, right around the corner. We got an ISIS.
I thought Trump destroyed ISIS. Didn't Trump say he destroyed ISIS during his first term? But yet they arrested somebody from ISIS? Did Donald Trump lie? Oh no, Donald Trump lied I'm so shocked that Donald Trump lied about getting rid of ISIS.
ISIS terrorist in New York. We have an October 7th task force. We just broke up a huge human trafficking ring.
Why do we have an October 7th task force? It's not, isn't it? Wouldn't it normally, if we had made an October 7th task force during the Biden administration, they probably would have said we're spending too much money on overseas things. We shouldn't be paying attention. They should be letting them handle their own issues, and we should handle our own issues here. Right? But no, we have a 10-7 task force now.
By the Senate.
Every conservative accusation is a confession, and hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite.
Below a cartel, 1,000 pounds of methamphetamine on our streets, ton of fentanyl, 20,000 Molly pills. Those are the drug of choice among at clubs and bars for young kids.
She sounds like such a boomer there.
They were fake, but you know what they had in them? Fentanyl. That's 20,000 lives saved because of you.
Well, at least it's only 20,000 lives saved instead of 200 million. At least that's a more believable thing. Although, again, I don't believe any number that they say because they lie about numbers. They don't want you to know the real numbers. We have that evidence of that many times over.
Right there. We brought back 20.
Yeah, DB Golding, why do we have to interpret everything they say as what they meant? That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't have to. They should, A, have the ability to speak properly and to say exactly what it is that what they want to say accurately, and B, you know, we shouldn't have to interpret it, and if they say things that are wrong, we should be questioning them on that directly. But we don't.
29 cartel members from Mexico in your direction, and one killed the Kiki Camareno, a DEA agent, in 1985, and many of us got to talk.
And it was Joe Biden's fault, because everything is Joe Biden's fault, right? This is Joe Biden's, stock market, right? Everything is Biden's fault. So the murder of somebody during Reagan administration is probably Biden's fault too, according to Donald Trump at least, because everything is Donald Trump's fault.
His widow and his son, who is now a judge, and they started crying. They have tried to get that guy back forever, and thanks to so many of you in this room working together, they have justice. They were crying on the phone because of what you did, President Trump. Thank you. We're going after anti-Semitism.
No, you're not. This administration is full of anti-Semites. Fuck you. As a Jew, I say fuck you.
Unleashing everything you told us. No more DEI, no more weaponization. We have rescinded, as I said, 200.
Yes, no more DEI, because that's going to be wonderful. Again, every time they say they're against DEI, they should be forced to say, we're against diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they should say it every time. No more diversity, no more equity, no more inclusion, because that's exactly what they want.
Policies, and I could go on all day long, but we are doing everything in our power to keep.
And boy, we're glad you're not.
America safe at your direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me to be a horrible person and allowing me to go after all of the evil people that I want to go after. And by evil people, I mean people who aren't white, because that's what they think. Ridiculous. And Trump says, you're really doing a great job. You're really doing a great, wonderful job. Screw you, Donald. Screw you, everything. Yeah, kimchi. No DEI, except me. Because, including women is inclusive. No DEI. We have a DUI hire in Pete Hegseth, right? But, that's completely different. Yeah, exactly, Hadon. Good guys with guns are safe, right? Exactly. They are safe. Except for when they're not. Do you agree with Pam Bondi? Disagree with Pam Bondi? Do you think Pam Bondi is right that Donald Trump's doing a great job? Do you think Pam Bondi is correct in saying that Donald Trump has saved over 200 million lives with his fentanyl plans? Let us know down below. And if not, let us know as well. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe to the channel, and of course, unless you're a Nazi, have a good day.